Hello YouTube, it is your boy, B3, back with another kicking comic book review. Today's trade is a collection of Absolute Carnage stuff, because I did say I would continue Absolute Carnage. It is Absolute Carnage, the Immortal Hulk, and other tales. So yeah, this is just a bunch of smaller Absolute Carnage tie-ins that couldn't really justify their own trade. Quick read up at the back of the book. The late Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was once the Red Hulk and briefly bonded to the Venom symbiote. Now, Ross's corpse has been unearthed, though why and by whom remains unclear. But with Ross's gamma-infused body possibly in nefarious hands, Bruce Banner intends to find out. During its first visit to New York City, the same symbiote briefly bonded to a human host that wasn't Peter Parker or Eddie Brock. Now, years later, this mystery man will meet his destiny at the hands of Carnage. And former Ghost writer Alejandra Jones is next on the Lethal Killer's hit list. Danny Ketch must ride again, but can he keep her out of Carnage's clutches? Collecting Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk, Absolute Carnage Symbiote Spider-Man, and Absolute Carnage Symbiote of Vengeance by Al Ewing, Peter David, Ed Brisson, Felipe Andrade, Francesco Mobili, Juan Ferrergi, I'm so sorry, Chris O'Halloran. A Gus Johnson video just started playing for no reason. Bet you'd rather be watching that. Java Tantagila. These are all not only are these names I'm not used to reading, but they're also very small on my screen here. Rain Burrito and Dono Sanchez Almara, rated T for T from Morville. That's right, it's from Morville. So my original plan was kind of to review this after I reviewed the first 9 volumes of Immortal Hulk, which is all the volumes currently out at the time of recording this. But that kind of like didn't happen, so here we are. The first one in here is the Immortal Hulk issue, and a lot of it is like Bruce Banner talking to the Venom symbiote, because the Venom symbiote did bond with the Immortal Hulk in Absolute Carnage. If you remember that, we did review Absolute Carnage and a couple tie-ins already, so definitely check those out. They should be on the comic review playlist. You could probably scroll down and find them also if you're watching this when it's new. Also see a bit of him talking to Betty and wondering about Ross's stuff, because, you know, Betty is like a new Red She-Hulk that's called Harpy, which is really cool. And a lot of crazy stuff goes down. We get to see not only Bruce talking to Venom, but also other Hulks. A little Spider-Man action. We see him talk to Bruce Banner. A lot went down in Absolute Carnage. And it's always nice to see the Devil Hulk, who might be my favorite Hulk. I'm not going to lie. He's really great. And we also get a couple pages from the comic where the symbiote, before it ever became Venom, attached itself to a reporter who I believe was actually on vacation, maybe. And it took him to Peter Parker's apartment. It just used him to swing to Peter Parker's apartment, pretty much, so they could get back in there. And then it's kind of about what happens to him after that. He's like in a parole hearing, and it turns out he kind of fucked with the White Rabbit, and his son died, and then he tried to kill the White Rabbit. Lots of crazy stuff, but then he had to spend a lot of time in prison. No, he wasn't a reporter. He was a judge. I'm sorry. He was a judge. Not a reporter. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, and then eventually Carnage comes for the cortex that's in his spine, and you can figure out what happens from there. We also get the story of our old Ghost Rider. I believe she wore the symbiote during the time of Agent Venom, like she, Red Hulk, Venom, and maybe X-23 all teamed up to do something, and they all got hell marked, I believe. Pretty wild. It's been a while since I reviewed that book. But, she fights Carnage and another Ghost Rider goes to aid her. And we get to see some of Johnny and what he's doing in hell since he replaced Mephisto, which is pretty cool, honestly. And we also got to see, Spirit of Vengeance Carnage, which of course was very, very welcome. But we are down a Ghost Rider. Won't tell you which one, but we are down a Ghost Rider. Sadly. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not much. It's like 3 issues, which really isn't even enough for a trade, but, I think it worked out. So, final thoughts on this little book here. I mean, it's kind of whatever. These are kind of the whatever tie-ins that just kind of exist to get an extra buck for Marvel, not gonna lie. None of them are necessary reads. I thought the one about the Judge was actually really good, but it's not necessary, It doesn't, you're not missing anything if you don't read it. Same with the Immortal Hulk one, because that's basically... You basically only want to read the Immortal Hulk one if you're reading Immortal Hulk and Absolute Carnage. If you're just reading one or the other, you don't really need to read it. But if you're reading both, I would for sure give it a go. But only if you're reading both do I feel like it's probably worth it. And then the Spirit of Vengeance one, I don't actually think it has anything to do with the current Ghost Rider book. Because isn't the current Ghost Rider book technically not even a Spirit of Vengeance? Isn't it like his serial killer uncle or something that gives him his powers? I don't know. I want to read his complete collection. So I guess he's not. He's in the Avengers. He's in the current Avengers team, I'm pretty sure. I'm not very experienced with him, as you can very obviously tell. I'm not a big Ghost Rider guy. I usually don't read the more magical books. And I usually don't read anti-hero books either, but sometimes, Sometimes, if they're a monster book, definitely. But yeah, it's just not super necessary. It's not super necessary. If your budget's tight and you want to read Absolute Carnage, you can pass on this. Definitely read the Venom books that tie in and the whole Johnny Cates run, or you won't understand Absolute Carnage anyways. Definitely read the Scream one, not because of its relevance to Absolute Carnage, because it doesn't have that much of a relevance to the main event. You can understand the main event without the Scream miniseries, but Scream becomes very relevant later on. Marvel's kind of starting to give her some attention. She gets kind of her own book, which I already reviewed, actually, and then she goes on to be in, King in Black and more Carnage stuff, so you do want to read the Scream one. Probably want to read the Miles Morales one too, and we'll see about the others. I'll review the Miles Morales one soon also. I also have that one. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all those cool links you see down there in the description below, and all our other links can be found within the link tree. I'd also like to go ahead and promote my upcoming book, All Dinosaurs Go to Hell. It's a story about a dinosaur in hell. That's what it's about. Dinosaurs in hell. It'll be pretty hardcore. Very metal. But that's it. Thank you all once again. It'll be on Kindle eBooks, which is also a place where you can get, this Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk book. But of course, if you have a local comic shop, try there first. So that's it. Thank you all once again. See you all next time.